This is the Mighty OB'a once again with our weekly sports update on clbTV and 1080 AM WFO radio and the internet at WUFOAM.com with our weekly sports update. A lot to talk about this week. Once again, the Buffalo Bills are in their bye week trying to correct one of their worst seasons in team history. The Buffalo Bills are close to the bottom in every major defensive category except for pass defense. And one of the strengths of this team has been our defensive backs. But in the first part of this season before the bye week, we have little or no pass rush. All of this sits on the decision to change from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3 defense. And now during the bye week, they're really stating that they're trying to change back to a 4-3 type defense out of necessity. This shows me once again that Chan Gailey is no longer capable of being a head football coach at this time. He has made some terrible decisions in the beginning of his tenure as a football coach for the Buffalo Bills, the head coach in general. Really, he has not conditioned himself to being in the 21st century. It seems like a lot of his decisions are back in the 20th century. One, he started with Trent Edwards, who never should have been on this football team. And you made him your starting quarterback, and now you had to cut him in the middle of the season. That tells me, what were you doing? You wasted all of training camp. This guy gets all or the majority of the reps in training camp, and now he went from your starter to being cut and on another football team. There's something wrong with that picture. When Ryan Fitzpatrick had taken the job from Trent Edwards last year because of Trent Edwards' incompetence during the games. And it's just unbelievable to me on some of the decisions that Chan Gailey has made. Chan Gailey has proven that he should be on the chopping block as a first-year casualty head coach. Moving from a 3-4 defense to the 4-3 defense is the other problem. You come in, you say we're going to run a 3-4 defense. Do you bring in an experienced defensive coordinator? No. You bring in one of your buddies that you used to work with in college, George Edwards, and you worked with him at Miami for a short stint, and you bring him here, and he's done nothing. He has proven to be an incompetent defensive coordinator, along with you being an incompetent head coach. Everybody's giving you a pass because everybody's saying the Bills are rebuilding. But this team was on the cusp of turning the corner. They were mediocre for 4 straight years. All you had to do was improve on what you had and move forward. If they would have kept Perry Fewell as the head coach, and Perry Fewell hires a more competent offensive staff, I think you have a better football team because at least your defense was competent. Couldn't stop the run, but it was competent. Now you can't do anything. You don't have a pass rush. You can't stop the run. You can't do anything. You got good defensive backs, but good defensive backs are only so good if they're not sustaining any pass rush. I don't know of any defensive back that can stay with some of the great athletes in the NFL all day. But right now, it is in my eyesight at the bye week that Chan Gailey, you're coaching for your job. Because if I was the owner of this football team, I see a bit of incompetence in the head coach of this football team with some of his decision making. And he's been going back and forth with your quarterback and now back and forth with your defense, which shows me that you are not prepared to be a head coach. That's all for us here on our weekly sports update. We'll see you next week. Live from Baltimore, Maryland, as we cover the game in Baltimore as the Buffalo Bills take on the Baltimore Ravens next week in Baltimore, Maryland after the bye week. That could be a very, very ugly game for the Buffalo Bills. We'll see you next week. I am the Mighty OB'a with our weekly sports update.